So a little while ago I was approached by this company here, Les DIY, so lesdiy.com, about whether or not I'd be interested in featuring, reviewing one of their sets, and kind of didn't know anything about them, didn't really have any fixed view on it. Obviously checked them out, and kind of, yes, they are building bricks and not one particular brand that we all know and are indebted to, but essentially they kind of do a whole range of things, from buildings to modulars, a lot of trains, a whole bunch of Star Wars, a lot of those figures, especially those ones from Albo, and other things that of interest, engines, military, you name it. And you buy the entire set as a one-er. Like, they got some great scenery MOCs, and yeah, there's a whole load on here. They do have kind of copies of other sets, like there's a Notre Dame there. I don't know whether that's exactly the same as the one that you would find on sale at the moment, but they have other things like Ireland St Patrick Cathedral, which is an epic build, pretty pricey, but yeah, so they have a whole range of partner designers. Some of these you may be familiar with, some of them perhaps not. I'm certainly familiar with a couple of the names, but not a whole heap, because MOCs is not something I've got massively into. Anyway, that's them. We are focusing on a Star Wars set, because it's kind of in my sweet spot. There's only one review on here, 1 star, so we're going to be diving into that. It's currently on sale for $99.99, and I have a 20% discount code as well, so if you follow the link in the description below this video, you can get the discount for that. So yeah, this is the kind of the set that we're going for. Where is it? There it is, which I've kind of showed in one of my vlogs already. Pixel Dan is the designer of it. He does an awful lot of Star Wars ships. Has his own website as well, Pixel Dan, where you can find all sorts of cool sets, whatever you're into really. He's right into it. He's got his own website. Obviously he's on Rebrickable as well, where you can find a whole heap of his creations. So yeah, pay with PayPal, presumably you can pay with other payment options, and away you go. So let's dive into the actual set unboxing. So this is the package that arrived. Fairly substantial box, weighs a bit, considering I think it says there's only like how many parts does it say? 1,377 parts. Not the easiest thing to get open with one hand, so I'll just slide it towards the edge of the table. There we go, and we'll crack into it. So your instructions come as a QR code. They are downloadable from there if the instructions of the little Les DIY logo is anything to go by. And then within the box is a big bag of parts. So they are kind of bagged up in different orders. They're not numbered or anything, so I'm not sure how this is going to play out in terms of the build. But that's all the parts. Pretty kind of standard looking. You wouldn't, from the first glance of it, know any difference whatsoever. Colour's good, production looks good. Having built the logo stand piece, certainly feel and behave exactly like branded bricks that you may use more commonly. So that's kind of what you can expect from the package. I'm going to go ahead and build this now, and waffle over the top of me doing that, so just bear with me. So I started off the time lapse on kind of a speedy thing, but anyway, things to kind of comment upon along the way. The bricks being in like random bags, no particular order, and small quantities, and not all the same types of parts in the same bags, was really frustrating to start with. The amount of time I spent kind of rummaging through individual bags trying to see whether or not the part I was looking for was within them was kind of frustrating. And as I'll probably say in the next bit, in hindsight, what I should have done was emptied all of the bags out, sorted all of the bricks into different parts, because it just became a bit of a find the needle in the haystack kind of process to start off with, which was kind of frustrating and it was in danger of spoiling the build. It didn't, as it turns out, but it's definitely something to think about if you are purchasing from Les DIY. So as we moved through it, kind of stepped up the gears into a time lapse, as it was a damn sight quicker. If you are interested in buying this set, I do have a promo code which is in the link in the description below. The promo code is TINMAN, as you'll see detailed below. It will get you 20% off this model, which is a huge thing. It'll bring it down from, it's currently on sale for $99.99, so knock another 20% off that. You're looking at like $89.99? No, that's 10%, isn't it? $79.99, which is a bargain, as you'll find out towards the end. I'm also going to do a giveaway of this set, but I'm going to do that in a separate video, so this one's not overloaded with information. So stay tuned to the channel if you are interested in winning this set, as that video will come along very soon. I've stopped the time lapse at this point because it was just taking so long to build. What are we now? Probably approaching two and a half hours of building. As I've probably mentioned in the voiceover to the thing, kind of everything being in bags, but there being no reason to the order of the bags was a little bit frustrating, and you end up with just bricks all over the place, which isn't really my style of building. Kind of, you know, not that I'm obsessed with the orders bags, but if you were going to do this, you'd be better off doing a good sort of parts before you started, so that you had a sense of how to find the parts. Let's move the ship as it stands. We're kind of building the wings at the moment. This section here was already snapped together. You know, those two halves that are, I think, impossible to get apart unless someone has a great trick for it. And that coming assembled meant that you have to build this wing section on the actual ship, which makes it quite fiddly. There's a few bits so far that don't really have the bite. These, for instance, are just spinning in those fixings. I think they're meant to be like the fairing on the edge of the ship, but they just don't stick. This part that is meant to live in the back section here, mirroring that one, won't fix onto the Technic pin stud. That hole there is obviously too wide for that pin there, so that keeps falling off. Yes, this is a display model, so it'll probably be fine once it's built and on its stand. This is quite fiddly, building this section. As you can see, kind of some of the bricks are a bit scuffed up, and there's a bit of colour variation. Personally, I quite like that because I think it adds a little bit of authenticity to the ship, but I'm sure there'll be people out there that that's a deal breaker, but I really like it. It kind of adds to the age of the ship, if you like. And similarly with this part, another one of these red pins, the piece won't stay on it. So there's a few little bits that are a bit of a niggle. Same on that one, kind of just not having it. So yeah, now we're on to building the actual wing plates, I think. I have a feeling these are going to be in two halves and then stapled off, and then just the cockpit to do. And again, kind of the cockpit piece is a bit scuffed up. It's a shame that they don't put that in a separate Ziploc bag, given that there are a million Ziploc bags. As you can see, it's pretty mangled, so that's a bit of a shame, but we're going to keep building, and then I'll kind of talk about it once I've completed it. What is it now? 5:10, so I'm going to crack on. So here we are, the finished model, the T6 Shuttle, as designed by Pixel Dan and bricks by Les DIY. Pretty tricky build, I'll be honest. I mean, I'm no master builder, but getting these wing parts on the kind of two facing sides onto the kind of the the framework that you build for it is pretty tricky. Good stand. It kind of slots into a space between the greebling on the side. Some lovely details in the tiling and stuff like that, and as I kind of mentioned before, slight color variation in some of the dark reds actually add a kind of a sense of patina to the look of the model, which is pretty cool. As I mentioned, I had a couple of tricky bits that I just can't make work. I couldn't get that grill plate to stay on at all, and now everything's built, I can't get in there. This cannon, some of these kind of little pins are a little bit loose, but as you can see, pretty beautiful model designed by Pixel Dan. And all in all, you know, if it didn't have a certain brand's logo on the bricks, you would never know. The cockpit won't sit flush, which is slightly annoying. Kind of, I don't know, there's just not enough clearance in the bricks to make that close flat, and I was missing one brick, which was the actual standard display brick that goes on those two studs that you can see inside the cockpit. But other than that, a pretty fantastic build. Obviously both sides of the wings, unlike the recent Lego T6 Shuttle, are fully done. They're identical, so you just build them in twos. So yeah, the model displays like that, which is pretty cool. Just pull back so you get a good feel of it. And off the stand, it displays stood like that, and it's kind of using the same technique as recent models have, with these kind of foldy out kind of feet. So I think that's probably the same as the current T6 Shuttle model. But as you can see, pretty beautiful. Kind of just a shame that I can't get that plate to sit in nicely, but other than that, everything's a beautiful model. And I think that top view gives you a good idea of some of the variation in the dark reds. So overall, I think it's a fantastic set. Great design, as I've said a couple of times now, by Pixel Builds. Definitely a step up from the recent Lego model for sure. Playability, not so much, but it is a display model. But you know, you could play with it, to be honest. There's a few bits in the instructions where there's kind of a bit of guesswork required, but I guess that's just Brick Studio's output. And generally, I'd probably say, kind of, if you didn't know what's what in terms of bricks, you would never know. And for this kind of price saving, as I'll talk about in a minute, is that a major factor if you're looking for some cool display models? I'm not sure. Let's just go over here. As you can see, I seem to have ended up with a mass of spare parts, which, if that focuses a minute, that I just need to figure out. There's that piece. I was seeing if I could cover up the hole where the stand goes, but that doesn't work. But yeah, a fair amount of spare pieces. So thank you, Les DIY, for supplying the model, and Pixel Dan for designing such a beauty. So I'm just going to jump on Brickstore and give you a bit of a comparison. So once again, kind of, if you hop onto Les DIY via the link below, you can get a 20% discount off of this as well, which will bring the price down significantly if it's something you're after. So $99 on here if that's where you wanted to buy it, versus if you went and tried to get it at current inventory average using branded bricks, it would come in around 242 Australian dollars. So a significant saving by going with the Les DIY model if you are not a purist. And I guess that's what it comes down to. Some people are, some people aren't. Personally, having built it and kind of had the feel of the bricks and stuff like that, you couldn't complain about the quality of the bricks. The color variation I actually think is really cool. As you can see, the model is slightly different. Or my one is slightly different to the pictures on here, isn't it? Because those two sides are different. Interesting. Maybe I've done that wrong. I'm not sure. As you can see, beautiful model. Some great pictures from the display set. Lovely, lovely. So yeah, that's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it useful. I hope it inspired you. And if you, as I've said, if you do want to get into this, head on down to the link below and click the link through to the website, and you can get a 20% discount using the code that's detailed in the description as well. Thanks for watching.